happiness. It's probably the most overused, overhyped, and misunderstood word in the world. Everyone wants it, everyone's chasing it, but almost no one truly understands how it works. And that's exactly why so many people stay stuck in the same exhausting loop, chasing something they can never seem to catch. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to break this down: the hidden psychology of happiness, why your brain keeps moving the goalposts, and most importantly, the mental models that can finally set you free from the happiness trap. Chapter 1: The Happiness Mirage. Let's start with a harsh truth. Happiness isn't a finish line. It's a moving target, and your brain is wired to make sure you never arrive. Remember that moment when you finally got what you wanted? A new job, a relationship, achieving a goal? For a while, it feels amazing, like you're floating. But how long does that last? A few days? Maybe a week? Sometimes just hours. That's hedonic adaptation, your brain's built-in system that resets your emotional state back to baseline. It's why lottery winners often return to how they felt before. It's why heartbreak that seemed unbearable eventually fades. The system isn't broken. It's designed this way. If you stayed satisfied forever, you'd stop striving. Evolution doesn't care about comfort. It cares about adaptability. The real problem? Modern life bombards us with other people's success reels. Instagram, YouTube, filtered stories that trick your brain into thinking they figured it out. Spoiler alert, they didn't. They're stuck on the same treadmill, just wearing different shoes. And here's the worst part. The more you believe in that illusion, the more frustrated you get when your life doesn't magically feel like theirs. You start thinking you're broken, when in reality, you're just playing a rigged game. Chapter 2: The Expectation Trap. If happiness isn't about achievements, what is it? Here's the uncomfortable answer. It's about managing expectations. Pain doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from the gap between reality and expectations. The bigger the gap, the bigger the frustration. You expected to be fit by 25, wealthy by 30, married by 32. Now, every missed milestone feels like failure. But did you ever question where those expectations came from? Society hands you a script. The media reinforces it. Well-meaning parents amplify it. But living by someone else's timeline is a guaranteed recipe for disappointment. It gets worse when you fuel those expectations by doom-scrolling social media. You see others hitting goals, yet your brain turns that into, "I'm behind." Shortcut to feeling lighter? Adjust your expectations, not your ambition, your timeline. Life isn't linear. Progress is messy. Growth looks like failure before it looks like success. And here's a sneaky trick your brain plays. It convinces you that by next month, everything will click. But life rarely obeys your calendar. The faster you accept that, the faster you reclaim your peace. And every time you reset your expectations, you lower that frustration gap, instantly creating more peace without changing your life circumstances at all. Ironically, that peace makes real progress easier, because you stop operating from constant disappointment. Chapter 3: The Achievement Paradox. Here's the cruel irony. The more you achieve, the harder happiness becomes. Every success raises your baseline. Remember your first paycheck? It felt incredible. Now, just numbers. New car? Fun for a week. Now it's just transportation. It's the dopamine treadmill, chasing the next high, but the finish line keeps moving. You hit a goal, your brain resets, and suddenly the next milestone feels like the new normal. Most people confuse happiness with excitement. New toys, milestones, status. But spikes fade. Chasing them gets exhausting. Real happiness isn't fireworks. It's stability. A steady flame, not constant explosions. And that stability doesn't come from what you own. It comes from how you see. Once you accept that success always resets itself, you stop expecting the next big thing to magically complete you. You start building peace within the chaos. Chase big goals, sure, but the real joy? It's in the climb itself. The lessons, the weird mental talks halfway up, noticing the view, not just posing at the top. Detach happiness from finish lines and suddenly the process feels lighter. You stop rushing. You actually enjoy the messy middle. And that's where real joy was hiding all along. Chapter 4: The Internal Shift. If you're constantly outsourcing happiness to external achievements, you're trapped. The real flex? Building your emotional baseline internally. This isn't some just be positive nonsense. It's about upgrading your mental operating system. You see failure as feedback, progress as nonlinear. The process itself becomes meaningful, not just the result. Your brain's wired for negativity, scanning for threats. But you can hack that system. Gratitude, mindfulness, reframing. These tools reshape perception. Suddenly, traffic becomes thinking time. Tough workouts, growth reps. That rejection? Data, not defeat. It's not toxic positivity, and it's tactical resilience. You don't fake being okay. You build the skills to actually be okay. And building that foundation doesn't mean you never feel disappointment. It means those feelings don't control you. You struggle and still grow. That's the real upgrade. The more you practice this shift, the more your outside life reflects your internal calm. That's where sustainable happiness begins. And yeah, your brain won't flip that switch overnight. You'll still spiral, overthink, react, but now you notice it sooner. You pause. You reroute. Those small rewrites, they stack. One better reaction at a time, until your default setting is quiet confidence, even in the chaos. Chapter 5. The Comparison Curse. Want a fast way to ruin your mood? Compare your raw, messy life to someone else's polished highlight reel. Social media is designed for that. You see the vacation, not the debt. The abs, not the struggle. The success, not the sleepless nights. Your brain skips the backstory. It just thinks, they're ahead, I'm behind. The result, anxiety, paralysis, doubt, and even knowing it's staged, your brain still reacts. The photo's fake, the smile's filtered, but your brain whispers, you're losing. Solution? Curate your inputs. Unfollow the triggers. Follow people who show the messy process, not just the shiny result. Better yet, compare backwards, not sideways. Look at your past self. Last year, last month. Are you growing? That's your real scoreboard. And when the spiral hits, remind yourself you're seeing the surface, not the story. Everyone's battling something. Most just don't post it. Protect your attention like your peace depends on it, because it does. Play your game, your timeline, your rules. Chapter 6. The Identity Anchor. Here's the mind bender. Your identity sets your happiness ceiling. If you see yourself as the one who always struggles, your brain will sabotage progress to stay consistent. Flip that narrative. Become the person who figures things out, who grows, who adapts. Happiness isn't only about achievements, it's about alignment between identity and action. Small wins matter. You hit the gym, you're disciplined. Read one page, you're a learner. Send that tough email, you're proactive. Every small decision, a vote for the future version of you. That's how identity reshapes, and happiness follows. But most people get stuck waiting to feel like the new version of themselves before acting. Backwards logic. You act first. The feeling catches up later. Confidence isn't a prerequisite, and it's a byproduct. You don't become disciplined by waiting for motivation. You become disciplined by showing up when it's uncomfortable. Each rep, physical, mental, emotional, builds proof you're not stuck. You're evolving. That proof compounds. One day, the old identity, just an outdated version you quietly outgrew. Chapter 7. The Control Illusion. A lot of suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. The economy, other people's opinions, random life chaos. That's not your jurisdiction. But your response? Always your power zone. Viktor Frankl survived concentration camps with this mindset. Between stimulus and response, there is space. In that space is our power to choose. Master that space. Master your emotional state. The faster you stop fighting chaos, the faster you stabilize yourself internally. Stressful moments compress you like a spring, but you choose whether that spring snaps or propels you forward. And sometimes chaos is the test. It shows whether your calm is real or just a theory. But here's the trap. Your brain loves the illusion of control. It makes endless plans, backup plans, scenarios in your head. And when reality ignores those plans, you spiral. Expectation clash again. Ironically, the more you embrace uncertainty, the more grounded you feel. Control doesn't come from predicting everything. It comes from trusting that no matter what, you'll adapt. The truth? Life is unpredictable by design. But resilience, the inner flexibility to bend without breaking, that's where your real control lives. Chapter 8. Redefining Happiness. The biggest breakthrough? Stop chasing happiness as a permanent state. A life with no struggle, no discomfort, no failure. That's not life. That's numbness. Happiness is cyclical, like seasons. You savor summer because you endured winter. You appreciate joy because you remember sadness. The goal? Emotional agility. Navigating highs and lows without getting stuck. You build an inner foundation strong enough to handle storms, knowing sunshine always follows. No stick figure on your mental storyboard smiles 24/7, and neither should you. Real joy comes from embracing the process, not clinging to outcomes. But here's what people miss. Lows aren't proof you're broken. They're proof you're human. Expecting constant happiness is like expecting your heart rate to stay flat, and we both know what a flat line means. Temporary discomfort? That's your emotional gym session. Frustration, doubt, even sadness. They strengthen your ability to enjoy peace when it comes. You build capacity by weathering the dips. And ironically, when you stop obsessing over being happy, you create space for real contentment to show up, naturally, quietly, without forcing it. Happiness isn't hunted, it's noticed when you slow down. Chapter 9. The Progress Illusion. Progress isn't always visible, and that messes with your head. You build habits, chase goals, fix mindset, feels like nothing's happening. That's the progress illusion. We expect change to be loud, obvious. Real progress? Sneaky, quiet, invisible brick stacking. Gym? No abs after 3 sessions, body's still adapting. Learning? 1 page feels small. 365 later, you're upgraded. Most quit because they can't see results. Their brain demands proof, but life's slower than that. Real progress hides early, like planting seeds, watering dirt for weeks, thinking nothing's happening. Solution? Track small wins. 1 workout, 1 page, 1 better choice. Progress is hidden in boring reps, quiet consistency, staying in the game when no one's clapping. Conclusion. The happiness equation. Happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you build. Forget the fake formulas. Happiness equals managed expectations plus growth identity plus resilient mindset plus emotional agility. Lower false expectations. Align your actions with the version of you that evolves. Reframe setbacks with perspective. Accept life's emotional seasons. It's not about feeling amazing 24/7. That's a Disney fantasy. But it is about building a system where peace and steady joy are your new baseline. Stop outsourcing happiness. Start cultivating it from the inside out. That's when everything shifts, quietly, sustainably, and for real.